Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I have a review of the in-progress Gazzew Boba Thocky linear switches. These switches are the newest addition to the Gazzew Boba switch lineup. As a disclaimer, I have the 65-gram V1 versions, and the switch tops have been known to have some problems, with occasionally binding with the bottom housing. But this has been fixed in the second version, and my switches were picked out to not have any issues. Because this is the first vision of the switch, it might not perfectly represent what the end product will be, but the smoothness, sound, and feel should be somewhat consistent among versions. Let's get into it. The V1 Boba switch is a light lavender purple housing with a darker purple stem, and it looks quite pretty. When it's accompanied by a keyboard backlight, it turns the color a tad pinker. In terms of feel, I quite like these switches. The Boba U4 switches that I previously reviewed feel very calm and gentle compared to these switches, while these switches are very snappy and exciting to use. The longer stem provides a very sturdy bottom out and a slightly shorter travel distance, but even though they do have longer pulls, there is still north-facing interference with cherry profile keycaps. My Thocky linears have been lightly lubed with Gazzew's 3G blend, but I also have ones that are lubed with 205 grade 0 and ones that are stock. None of the switches have films, since Boba housings are famously tight. For smoothness, it's about similar, if not smoother, to my Black Inks or 4F switches when lubed with Krytox. However, they are very similar once lubed. Stock, they are quite scratchy. If you do get these switches, I would definitely lube them. With a light 3G lube job that I have on these switches, they are somewhat smooth but still a bit scratchy. Before I continue on to sound, I want to quickly ask that you subscribe. I've been working hard to get a larger following and every bit counts. Thanks, and back to the video. For sounds, the stem has a long pull, which gives it quite the sound that I would describe as thocky and clacky. The stem produces a very pronounced downstroke as the pull hits the bottom housing. It's definitely on the thockier side of linear switches, but I find that Black Inks are still deeper sounding. Here's a sound test. In terms of comparing it to other switches, I think it's still a good option. Gator-on yellows are less smooth and have less character to its sound, though they are half the price, so I couldn't really compare them. Black Inks are a similar smoothness, maybe a bit smoother than the Bobas for me, but are more expensive, need filming, and have claims of inconsistent smoothness. The Thocky linears are more clacky while the inks are more subtle sounding. JWK linears, or in my case 4F switches, are about the same price and have a similar smoothness. The JWKs might be a bit smoother, but is pretty similar after looping. The Boba Thockys are slightly deeper sounding and they're both pretty clacky. But descriptions of the sound only do so much. Here's a sound comparison of all the switches. So in conclusion, this switch is a pretty good option. Gazzew still lives up to his reputation of great switches, and this one is no exception. I'd recommend it over Black Inks, but it's your choice if you want these or a JWK switch for your next linear. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.